Music has a way of making us feel better when we're feeling down. It helps brighten our days and sets the mood for our nights. I can't imagine how boring life would be without it. The artist who writes and performs these songs often take the ideas for their work from their own life's experiences, which comes from a wide range of emotions. It takes a lot of balls to put themselves out there on display in that way for all the world to see and often judge. For that, we owe them a huge debt of gratitude. Whether you like a particular artist or not, the fact that they do what they do to try to bring us joy and entertainment means a lot. Out of respect for the artists who have passed, we won't be showing any of the gory details such as death photos or accident scenes. We prefer to instead celebrate the lives they led and the music they helped create for all of us to enjoy for many years to come. Our goal is to honor their lives and careers and to hopefully turn their music onto a new generation of fans who have maybe not gotten a chance to hear their music yet. We hope you'll sit back, relax and enjoy the video. If you liked it, we hope you'll give us a like and share, but most importantly a subscribe. It would really mean a lot to us. Now on to the video. Tim Kelly was born on January the 13th of 1963 in Trenton, New Jersey. Tim grew up listening to artists like Rick Derringer, Robin Trower, Peter Frampton and Eric Clapton to name a few. He loved sitting in his room and trying to figure out how to play along to his records to the rock stars that he idolized. By the 6th grade, he was doing just that. He went through several bands which included New Haven, and Allegiance which happened to be fronted by his brother Brian. After no major success, Tim was chosen as the guitarist for the new band Slaughter, who was formed in 1988. Slaughter was formed after the band, Vinnie Vincent Invasion dissolved. Vinnie had played with Kiss on their heavier 80's albums, Creatures of the Night and Lick It Up. After being fired from Kiss, Vincent formed his own glam metal outfit and made 2 albums, the second one featuring Mark Slaughter and Dana Strum, who would go on to form Slaughter with Tim Kelly and drummer Blas Elias. They went on to release a few great albums before the tragedy that would end the life of Tim. On February 5, 1998, Kelly was involved in a fatal car accident while traveling on Highway 96 near Baghdad, Arizona. Kelly was on his way to go skydiving on the day of the accident. As he was coming home, an 18-wheel tractor trailer whose driver was impaired on illegal drugs, crossed the center line and struck Tim's vehicle head-on. The crash caused his car to flip over several times before coming to a rest. He was taken to a hospital in Baghdad, Arizona, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The driver of the semi who hit him later served 3 years in prison for vehicular manslaughter. Tim was just 35 years old at the time of his death. Tim was replaced by guitarist Jeff Blando but has always been sorely missed in the Slaughter band family. Another great 80's guitarist we lost recently was Cinderella's Jeff LaBar. Jeff was born on March 18, 1963 in Darby, Pennsylvania. He was born one-half Japanese and was influenced by his older brother who loved the guitar to start playing as a young boy. In the early 80's, he soon met a group of guys who called themselves Cinderella and he replaced their original guitarist Michael Skurmick. It wasn't long before their debut album Night Songs was released on June 9 of 1986. The album was and still is one of my favorites, even to this day. There are so many great songs on this album that I highly recommend. Nothing for Nothing and Back Home Again being my favorite tracks. Anywho, Cinderella went on to record 3 more albums and 1 greatest hits package before calling it a day. There was never any official reason given for the guys to go their own ways, but Jeff admitted shortly before his death that he thought the reason that the band broke up was because of his alcohol consumption. Many believe that it was the cause of his death, but it was later determined that the official cause of his death was related to COVID-19. Before his untimely passing, Jeff had found peace with a hobby that he had a strong passion for, which was being a chef. He went to school for culinary arts after the band went their own ways and was not only doing what he loved doing, but was making a great living at it as well. Having met Jeff, I can say that he was a very cool, down-to-earth guy and I hope he's found true peace on the other side. At the time of this writing, the other guys in the band have said that there are no plans to ever try to reform the band. Cliff Burton was the second bass player to join Metallica in the early 80s after original bassist Ron McGovney left the band to lead a more normal, quiet life. Cliff was born on February 10 of 1962 to parents Ray and Jan Burton in Castro Valley, California. Metallica was one of the bands who ended up changing the way heavy metal music sounded. Their debut album Kill 'Em All was released in 1983, and was one of the first thrash albums to ever be released. Although Cliff was considered shy and humble, he was ecstatic about the music they were releasing. He was able to be a part of the first 3 albums, including what most fans would consider to be their best album, Master of Puppets, which, sadly would be his last album with them. The strange and eerie part is, at the time of his death, he had been a part of writing one song for their follow-up album. A song called, To Live Is to Die. Spooky when you think about it. Cliff's death came while on tour in the winter of '86 while on tour supporting their album Master of Puppets. The bus that they were riding in was very cold and uncomfortable according to the bandmates. Cliff and fellow bandmate Kirk Hammett decided to play a game of cards to decide on who got the choice of bunks. Whoever chose the highest card out of the deck, got to choose which bunk to sleep in. Cliff won the game with an ace of spades. He chose Kirk Hammett's bunk. As the band toured Sweden in the fall of '86, the road conditions were dark, icy and miserable. As they traveled along the dark, icy road, the bus went a little too far over the line on the side of the road and started to tip over. Cliff had chosen Kirk Hammett's bunk to sleep in and the window wasn't locked. Burton was a smoker, so it's likely that maybe he had his window cracked to get a smoke. Regardless, when the bus started to tip over, Cliff rolled up against the window as the bus started to turn over and he fell out on the ground and was crushed. He was killed instantly. Another strange thing about his death was the last words he spoke to his good friend Frank Bello of Anthrax. The 2 friends had both played a show the night before and as they were both getting onto their tour buses, Frank said to Cliff, "I'll see you tomorrow night." Cliff's reply was strange indeed. His final words were, "Maybe I will." Did he have a premonition of what was to come? Who knows? I hope not. I would hate to know something like that was coming. Rest in peace, Cliff. You're very missed by your family, friends and bandmates. Randy Castillo was one of the most talented drummers to hit the metal scene in decades. Randy was born on December 18 of 1950, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. His career break came when Lita Ford hired him for her Dancing on the Edge album in 1984. That led to a chance meeting of Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. Sixx at that time was dating Lita. The guys all formed a fast friendship that would live until the drummer's death. Tommy Lee called up his new friend Randy and told him about Ozzy needing a new drummer and helped him get the gig. After recording and touring with Ozzy for quite some time, Castillo actually ended up replacing Tommy Lee when he quit Motley Crue to form a rap hip-hop side project. Randy recorded the album New Tattoo with the band and was getting ready to head out on tour with the CRUE, Megadeth, and Anthrax. Just weeks before that tour was to start, he became seriously ill while playing with his mariachi side project Azul at the Cat Club in Hollywood. He was rushed to the hospital immediately. The doctors discovered a duodenal ulcer that had ruptured his stomach and performed emergency surgery that saved Castillo's life. While Castillo was out of action, Hole drummer Samantha Maloney filled in for the tour. While he was taking a break to focus on recovering, a small lump formed on his jaw which quickly grew to the size of a golf ball. He was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma, which is a common form of cancer that is not usually fatal if it is discovered early but can spread rapidly if left untreated. Although he went into remission for a short time in 2001, the cancer proved to be fatal soon after. Randy lost his battle on March 26. Randy was only 51 years old. Another hard rock drummer who was an absolute powerhouse was a man named Eric Carr. Paul Charles Caravello, also known as Eric Carr, was born on July 12, 1950, to Albert and Connie Caravello. He grew up in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn in New York City. His big break was when his friend and former bandmate Paul Torino told him about Peter Criss leaving Kiss. He knew he had to audition. Carr's audition was a cover of their current hit at that time, which was a song called Shandy with Carr's drumming and vocals. To make it stand out, he placed the cassette tape in a bright orange envelope, which worked. The demo made its way to Kiss themselves. At that time, very few knew what the guys looked like without their signature makeup. When the guys came in, he knew Paul Stanley right away, but he was unsure of who was Gene or Ace. He auditioned for the band, and if the power of his drums didn't hook them, his next move did. He humbly asked them, "Even if I don't get the gig, can I at least get your autographs?" His shy, humble demeanor was what sealed the deal. They all picked up a Kiss album and signed it, and then asked him to sign it too. That's how he knew he got the gig. Although his first album with the band was a bit strange to say the least, the next album, Creatures of the Night, and then the album they took the makeup off for Lick It Up, more than solidified Carr as the ultimate rock metal drummer. The fans loved and embraced him, and the band loved him too. Eric was always insecure in his place within the band though. He also thought he'd be replaced. Ironically, he would later be by former Cult drummer Eric's singer. Carr became ill around September of '91. Within weeks, he was battling cancer and lost his hair and most of his strength. Before he was let go, he managed to gather his strength and perform one last video with the band, a song called God Gave Rock and Roll to You that was on the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey soundtrack. He lost his battle with cancer on November the 24th, 1991. I truly hope these guys are doing what they love on the other side and still enjoying the love of playing music. Tim Kelly, Jeff LaBar, Cliff Burton, Randy Castillo and Eric Carr were just a few of the true legends of rock that we have lost over the years. If you enjoy videos like this, let us know who you would like to hear about in the comments section below. Maybe we'll do a part 2. We'd also love it if you'd check out our social media links and give them a like or a follow. It really helps us when you spread the word. Our merch shop is below as well. By picking up a t-shirt, coffee mug or other merch, you're helping me out to support my kids, so a huge thank you for that as well. We appreciate each and every one of you. Till next time.